thanks for joining us. Well, we've got a lot to get through tonight, but I want to start, of course, with Dunkley, because this is the big one. Now, Craig, Labor holds it comfortably. They hold it on a margin of 6.3%, but because of Albo's recent record, how big of a litmus test for him will this be, do you think?
What do you mean by his recent record?
Well, I think, we've Airbus Albo, he made us all go to the polls during the middle of a referendum, but also lack of action on the cost of living crisis. And people in Dunkley, as I said, they're the ones doing it tough. Yeah,
I think for that reason, it's going to be a really interesting outcome to see, to your story there. About, particularly in this electorate, people will be really feeling, the increased cost of living pressures, and we'll have to see, how much that plays out. I do think that, I saw news that he's not going to be there, and that, he's spending time with his family over the weekend.
His birthday.
His birthday, so he won't be there to see the result either way. But I think that at least is very good. I like to see. Our politicians at least, being real people outside of that environment, and spending time with family, as we all enjoy doing. So I'm pleased he's doing that, but, I think it's a tough one to call. It's not going to decide the next election, that's for sure.
You don't think it will?
Well, it can have a big impact, that's true, but there's a lot of time and a lot of water under the bridge to go before we get there. But I think it certainly is a big opportunity for Peter Dutton, that's for sure. Yeah. He'll be eyeing it with a view towards saying that, that Albo's work on cost of living, that's the big message, and that it hasn't been effective. So I think the people of Dunkley are going to make a big statement on that.
I think you're right. It is going to be a huge statement, Prue, but also not just for Anthony Albanese's leadership, but what does this also mean for Peter Dutton? It's a test of both, really.
It is, although, Dennis Shanahan was saying it's a litmus test. I think it's an intelligence test. You've got 113,000 voters there who are really waking up to the fact that this man, Albanese, was a fake. You can get new hair, new glasses, new teeth and new suits, and you can promise the world, but when you're suffering and you can't afford to pay your bills and pay your rent, well, then you know that man who's promised you $275 and you know that that's not coming, and he's done very little to really make the difference in people's lives, that they're going to really cane him, and he deserves it. And in turn, he's trying to soften it because he knows the polling's telling him how bad it is. That you need it's average to have a 7%, a swing. Well, that's not right. He's lying again, and he knows that he's trying to, he's not coming to Dunkley during the evening because he knows he's running scared. He's a PR slut. He loves to be around when there's something great happening around him.
Maybe it's a good idea that he's not going to be there.
Well, of course it is, because he doesn't want to aware what's going to happen.
Well,
and Dutton, of course, is probably in the box seat. And hopefully, when I say an intelligence test, people say they don't like the way he looks. It's got nothing to do with the way he looks. It's the policies,
right? It's the policies. And tomorrow night we will find out how voters are thinking about both sides of politics. But look, let's move on, because the PM is standing behind the National Spy Agency's decision not to name a former politician turned foreign agent. Peter Dutton has also said that he respects ASIO's decision not to name this traitor. Craig, ASIO claims that this former poly actually sold out the country to foreign intelligence. So why are we protecting this individual?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think every Australian wants to know and has a right to know that. And the Director General of ASIO did explain it, I think it was today, when he said that there are, around the operational security, if you like, and the informants and the way that the information was found, some of that needs to be protected. And I think that's fair enough. What I have enjoyed about it is the fact that, I assume that it's correct information that the Prime Minister was saying he wasn't aware of the announcement that was going to be made. And I think that independence has been demonstrated to be important.
Yeah.
And so, other politicians are saying, well, that's not right because we have no clarity. But, at the same time, he has come out and said, this is important. I've got a level of independence even from the Prime Minister and from the government, which is good. And however, there are considerations I want Australians to understand that I can't release the name. And I'm comfortable with that, but I'm very pleased at what he's done.
Yeah, look, fair enough. I guess we're in a situation where so many names are being thrown up around. You know, you hear it, you know, people are speculating. Obviously, the rumour mill has gone into overdrive. But, Prue, I mean, is that a problem? Because there could be innocent people here who are being completely thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
there are.
You know, you can't help but be suspicious that it's a Labor Party member, so that's why the Labor Party don't want it to be named. You know, they're quite happy, nothing to see here. But, you know, we have these foreign interference laws. They've only just been kicked in, you know, in terms of getting somebody who's actually been convicted under them, that Duang guy, a businessman in Victoria, only this week. But the thing that worries me is, and has always worried me, is that we have a lot of former politicians who are now on boards, you know, Chinese boards. They're promoting China. They mysteriously go over on these lobbyist visits to China and come back waxing lyrical and wanting things changed, like the Huawei decision. So, you know, there's a bit of hypocrisy there. I can't help but feel that a lot of our politicians of all persuasions are very vulnerable and succumb to whatever it may be, the sweet talking, the influence, who knows, the bags of money in Aldi.
Well, I mean, that was a one-off case.
Exactly,
you know,
but we don't know, do we? And so it's just concerning that this is what can be happening.
Well, look, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they ever release that name, but by all accounts, I don't think that they will.